Welcome to the Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto, and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. And we are joined by Neil, Adam, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server. So, welcome one and all.
How are you?
Good morning.
I'm very well. How are you?
Outstanding.
Big shout out to all of you supported my Give, Send, Go campaign yesterday. So just before the show started, literally just before the show started, Amazon dropped off my new one. So I am elated, as it is essentially had the costs covered by the people who support the show. So I'm really, really grateful that I'm not now dealing with a flashing Stream Deck with buttons stopping working and causing bing bongs as it reconnects and disconnects from the USB socket it's plugged into. But the new one's very nice and it's shiny, and it's got instead of a captive cable, it's got like a USB-C that can presumably be just replaced if it does the same thing again. So it's somewhat improved, but basically the same thing as the old one. So I've got my new Stream Deck. Very happy. Thank you again to all of you who did support that. It wasn't a massive campaign. It was like for a couple of $100, and depending on what I got in terms of funds, I might have upgraded to a slightly larger one. But instead, I've got exactly the same one as I had before. But that is perfectly sufficient, and I'm very, very pleased that I can do that at all, given that I'm generally broke. So there we go. Thank you very much to all of you who supported that Give, Send, Go. Is there any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge? That's a horizon formerly known as Earth curve. Don't all go at once.
What is it? No Atmo Day?
What does that mean?
I mean,
How would you see
we
it?
go by level.
What do you want?
Is there any evidence of Earth curve? I'm asking for like the hill that is claimed to get in the way of stuff if you're a baller. That's what I'm asking for. And I'm being told if it's no Atmo Day. I don't really know what that means.
Yeah. Being facetious. It looks flat. It measures flat. It's always flat.
In which way to be presented?
Fair enough. We'll go back
If you're on Earth and you're using Earth, you're going to be using a flat Earth.
Yeah. If you're measuring Earth, you're going to be measuring it flat. I think we'll go back to just doing a couple of housekeeping questions. We did a full round of them yesterday. If you want to hear the full rendition, we'll do them maybe once a week. And then each day we'll just do a couple. Any evidence you can have pitch data on a globe?
Negative.
Okay.
It'd be just pitch from horizontal. So you need the horizontal to be Earth. You're using level as horizontal as Earth. It's a beautiful thing.
Indeedy. Okay, so we have actually got a video that I didn't necessarily enjoy covering when we covered Mark and Patricia last time. Maybe because I've had a fairly reasonable interpersonal relationship with both of them, and I don't really want to fall out with them because I like both of them. So covering Mark and Patricia isn't necessarily what I want to do with my day, if you know what I mean, because I know I'm going to be critical of them. So what can I do? Let's give a little preamble. So, well, let's share Mark's video first and foremost as we're covering it. So in case you aren't already, please go and subscribe, like, comment, more importantly than anything else, to Mark Sargent's YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure everyone here will at the very least have heard Mark Sargent's name at some point. If you haven't, where have you been living? Under a rock? What's wrong with you? In either event, please go and let him know by clicking the link in the live stream that's going by right now. and letting Mark Sargent know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. So just leave him a polite comment. I'll give you the same preamble because we do have Globers who watch the show. If you do pop along to Mark and let him know that I sent you, don't swear. Be polite. Don't automatically get your comment removed by the bots at YouTube either. So, Mark may well remove your comment if you're rude to him or passive aggressive or whatever it is. But just let him know. Give him a nudge. Tell him we've responded to his video. Now, if you're not a fan of Mark, which is generally the people I'm speaking to, because most who hear this and aren't subscribed to Mark will just go and subscribe when they hear what he's got to say. But if you're a baller and hearing this and you're like, yeah, I'll let you know Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a few sharp words. Well, Mark's a good guy, generally speaking. Just let him know we sent you. It will be enough because I assure you, if you're a baller, we're going to be knocking, if you want to look at it that way, Mark and Patricia when we do this coverage. We're going to be critical of them. Now, I know full well that Mark will be perfectly tolerable of it. He's literally had me sat over a desk from him going, why are you saying this? Why are you saying that? And he has perfectly cordially and reasonably discussed these things with me. So I know Mark can handle this. He's all for critique and open to discussion about anything he does, which is great. Patricia, similar, but by the same token, maybe not the same because she's not covering Flat Earth in the same way we cover Flat Earth, which may become apparent if you're not necessarily watching Patricia steer or haven't watched her up until now. So you'll get the general gist of why I'm saying all these things as we progress. But before we do, has anybody got any comments while I'm calling people to action to go and let Mark know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me? Please do so if you are in the live audience. I'm not just saying it. But yeah,
Yes, I haven't heard you yelling one time yet.
Mark?
No, I'm saying I haven't heard you yell one time yet.
I can raise my voice quite easily. What are you talking about? I've never heard you yell.
No, when you watch the video, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I don't really know what you're talking about. I'm very, very dynamic, quite intentionally. If I want to make it seem like somebody would call something yelling, I can easily achieve that. You know what I mean?
They make it sound like all you do is yell at people on this video. It's a misrepresentation of you.
You're saying
Stop yelling at me.
You're saying that this video that Mark is doing is covering me.
Well, yes, they mention you because of what McToon did, yelling into the phone. And they compared it to you. And Patricia's basically saying, well, Nathan has his show where he yells at people. He don't call other people and yell at them. Made it sound like all you do is yell at people. That's not true.
Okay. I mean, I will raise my voice to fundamentalist religious zealots when they chant over us, so I can be heard. Sometimes when someone's talking and you've got a lot to say, you've got to raise your voice. That's how it goes. We'll see. Anyway, I should have done a sound check. I haven't actually done that. Does anybody know where it started? Anybody got a timestamp? Virgin Droid that shared this, so we might have a timestamp on any of the panel.
Of miles wide. Just Google Flat Earth Market.
Yes. Did you know? Is that a note of a timestamp?
No.
It murmurs back. You've got to be clear and concise. We're live. Who was that in G Plus?
It was me. I haven't watched this yet, so I said no.
No, fine. Just, yes. Okay. Well, we'll get into it. Sounds fine.
Beginning. Quote of Day goes exactly like this. Never forget that a hero's journey is not only defined by its peaks, but also its valleys. Who said that? Me. Although I'm sure people have said versions of that over the years, but I came up with that one. My co-hosts in the upper left, the perfect Patricia Steer. In the upper right, the slightly frozen but still delightful DJ Curious. And in the lower right, we have special guest Joseph Hanvey. Did I pronounce that right? Hanvey? Perfect.
That's correct.
We'll get to later, so shut up. Don't say anything. And yeah. How are you guys, by the way? How's everybody?
Wonderful.
Great.
Great.
DJ. Oh, cool. America, people have no idea. America have made a lot of cartoons over the years. Sorry, my bosses. I'll show it to you on the air. And so he sent me that, small because I fast, which is skis on the border in Pennsylvania. There is a meetup in Minnesota. I just put that one up. That is going to be December 28th. That promo is on my channel as well. And stuff up. We'll check it out, make sure it's at least somewhat operational. And you can bid on an entire pallet of stuff. Rick, you know how to do this. Hey, and no, okay, I'm not going to pick up everybody else. Yeah, there's Brian Burton. Nope, we're not doing this. All right, guys, I'm hanging up on all of you. No, I'm not picking. No, I'm hanging up on all you guys. Screw you. Okay, that's the power of social media right there.
Wow, that's hilarious.
No, come on, Rick, you're killing me. Rick, come on, seriously, I'm on air. I got a show to do. Okay, learn.
Yes, journey. And if you go to his channel, and mods, if you could, please put his channel off and on throughout the show as long as Joseph is here, linked in the chat so that people can subscribe to it. He went on this geocentric journey, and it led to the models that he's been coming out with. But the journey was more than just coming up with a model. It was everything. He looked at all aspects of the world, pretty much after work, came home and shut himself away and began doing deep studying. And he was questioning everything, including his faith. This was 2004, 2005, and his research has led him to many different changes in his life, although he's kept the same job. But now he's here with us, and his channel is definitely on the verge of blowing up. He's the right man at the right time for the Flat Earth Awakening. And we want to welcome you here, Joe. Thanks for being on, and thanks for the capabilities that you possess to bring us what looks like a working model of the Flat Earth.
What? He's got an azimuthal equidistant projection on his back wall.
Nathan, they're all going to jump on this, trust me.
Hold on. Is it utilizing an azimuthal equidistant projection or not?
Are you talking about Joseph Hanby's model?
Yes, that's who's being interviewed.
Yeah, so he uses a dome, reflective dome, and does modeling on it. He makes a good thing on like star trails I saw, but
not what I asked.
Could I just make a side comment?
Just, do you have an answer or not? Does he use an azimuthal equidistant projection or not?
No, he uses a dome, like just a dome.
Yeah, he does. Underneath that is an AE map.
Then it's wrong.
Oh.
Okay. So we debunked it by showing that the sun doesn't match the land masses claimed to be under the sun on that map. Why would we use that map? Wrong. No matter what he does with his dome, I can show in physical reality on 2 separate occasions where the sun is claimed to be, and it not matching the map when you physically verify with a person live with a camera phone pointing their camera at the sun and checking where it's supposed to be on that map. It doesn't match. It is wrong. We knew that, 9 years ago? So no matter what he presents, it will not be right.
Thank you for having me. I'm just kind of humbled to even be in this situation, to be honest. I never really was doing that. My main reason was just to figure it out for myself after I figured out that the Earth is definitely not what they told us it was. So I like to figure things out, and that's what I decided to try to do. I know it's got to be something different than what they've told us, so what is it?
Right on.
Hope this guy relaxes a little bit, because at the moment he's incredibly nervous for whatever reason. I mean, to be fair, when I was first in the presence of Patricia Sear, I was very nervous. She's got that kind of air about her. You're like, okay, it's Patricia Sear. You know what I mean? Not that she's a serious character. She's actually very easygoing. But I'm just saying, when you're in this sort of setting with her, it suddenly puts you on edge because she's very professional and et cetera, et cetera.
Hey, can I interrupt for 1 second? Because I'm sure people are interested in the chat room. Because I don't know. Because up until recently, I hadn't really watched your stuff. But I have caught up as fast as I could. How did you get into this? What is your journey like? As far as how getting this far, before we get to your model, how many years are you in? We treat this kind of like a sad AA meeting, which is go ahead.
I don't remember the exact year that it kind of clicked, but it was sometime around 2009, 2010, or 2011. And
what's clicked and what happened in 2011? I understand what's being asked or what's being answered. Does anybody else know?
How he got into flat Earth.
Go on, Angels.
I think he became a geocentrist or something like that, and then got onto the flat Earth. I believe that's what it is.
So he's geocentrist. Okay, thanks.
I discovered that there was just a lot of things not lining up with what we had been taught in school and about history and just the stuff in the media. So, and at the time I was teaching I didn't work at studying it, researching it constantly, how it's weight, the model we've been told our whole life. So that's a kind of a quick, short synopsis.
No, that's fine. That's perfect.
Yeah, I love that. I just want to chime in really quick and just also say thank you, Joe, for being here, and thank you to Rock. So happy you're here, and thank you again.
Blew up. Just the work that I've done has connected me with people all over the plane. So it's been awesome. I get to talk to people in New Zealand and Australia and South America. Model. Their main push points were always, what about the lights in the ceiling? Why does the sun do this? Why does the moon do this? What causes moon phases? What causes lunar eclipses? Why do star trails rotate arc and anti-arc in different zones? It was always about the ceiling. Why is the ceiling like this if the floor is flat? So I was like, any model really needs to be able to account for the luminaries.
Okay, so he's immediately failed. So you don't identify that fallacious reasoning that they've applied. You just chased straight down that trail. No, that's incorrect. Yeah, when you've summarised their fallacious reasoning, that's where you stop. You don't go, because they tell me that what the lights do in the sky must dictate what the ground's doing. We must figure out what the lights in the sky do. No. I mean, it's a lofty supposition to endeavour to find out how the entire world works. And I'm not trying to decry, that's why I'm a bit hesitant in my speech. Anybody who takes on such an endeavour, right? If I'm seen to poo-poo these people, and by these people I mean people who speculate and try and figure these things out with their dome models and things like that, right? If I poo-poo them, then they won't, be the out-of-the-box thinkers, and then we won't have people practically applying these things, and they become useful after creative people put them to use, and sometimes that involves novel thinking, or a problem that needs solving, or whatever it is that leads people to go, well, how does that work? Now, the problem we have at the start of a flat Earth journey is that people have been deceived with science to believe that things that are called experiments have an air of empiricism, validity, proof, when they're declared based on observations of lights. So the first step in a journey to flat earthism isn't really figure out how you can project a light to seemingly match the light in the sky, because that's correlative only. And we're more interested in cause here. So we can speculate. I'm not saying we shouldn't speculate, but I'm saying you're also subject to the highest degree of scrutiny and ridicule that there is. So given that's the case, you can go straight in front of Patricia Steer and Mark Sargent with your model that's based on a map that failed, that's a globe projection, and have our scrutiny and the scrutiny of everyone else, and everyone pointing at you and calling you stupid. Me, it'd be keep it to yourself till you absolutely know it does actually function with a practical use, and then show it. But that's just me. I mean, I've only faced 10 years of ridicule in flat Earth. What would I know?
Can I clarify something? He doesn't actually use the Gleason underneath his dome. He uses the moon map. I posted it in the side chat.
Okay. Can someone stick that in Master B? And what is
also,
the moon?
Nathan, could I make...
Yeah.
Just a side comment. I debunked the final non-experiment. I can put. It's a 2-minute video I made. It was actually during the video where Batoon called you. Yeah, final experiment debunked 100%.
Tell us why. Tell us verbally why.
Well, when McToon's walking around, his shadow changes directions, and then when he moves away from the sun, it elongates like triple the amount. So that can't happen with a 93 million mile away sun.
You're saying his shadow changes length?
It changes length and direction. So the shadow's pointing to the right. Then as he walks past the sun, it turns.
Okay, I want to address this 24-hour Antarctic sun time lapse from Dave McKeegan.
This looks like Brian's video. Have you posted it somewhere that I can get it? Is it in? Where is it?
Oh yeah, I'll put it right now if you want. I just put it now for you.
Okay.
That's funny because I was telling him look at the shadows yesterday on TV show.
The final non-experiment with these goobers who are in a studio with shadows changing directions. Look at McToon's shadow. Look where it starts off from. Look where it ends up. It flips. I'm sorry, but isn't the sun meant to be 93 million miles away? Look at the shadow length getting longer as he walks away. Get dominated, Glyphs. Have fun explaining that one.
Said the sun sets. You said that if people tried to go to Antarctica, they would get turned away at gunpoint. I proved that you lied, Nathan. All of your gullible idiot followers should be realizing right now that you are an idiot or you are a liar. You said you would get turned away at gunpoint. I did not get turned away at gunpoint. You lied, Nathan. I will perpetually call you a liar because I proved it, Nathan. I'm standing here in Antarctica looking at Mount Rossman. I'm walking around. Would get turned away at gunpoint. I did not get turned away at gunpoint. You lied, Nathan. I will perpetually call you a liar because I proved it, Nathan. I'm standing here in Antarctica looking at Mount.
I don't know if I agree with this screenshot. The one that you've clipped and put side by side or above and below. See if I can get it in frame for my audience a bit better. Hold on a second. That could just be forced perspective from where Dave McKeegan's filming, in terms of your assessment of its different length. I don't know if I agree with you on this. Watch it again. Sorry, audience. I didn't think I'd be assessing this on the fly.
Or you are a liar. You said you would get turned away at gunpoint. I proved that you lied, Nathan. All of your gullible idiot followers should be realizing right now that you are an idiot or you are a liar. You said you would get turned away at gunpoint. I did not get turned away at gunpoint. You lied, Nathan. I will perpetually call you a liar because I proved it, Nathan. I'm standing here in Antarctica looking at Mount Rossman. I'm walking around between the 10 cameras we have running.
If you watch the end, I kind of do a loop. That little section where he moves back and I make him move back and forth, like I reverse
Looking at Mount Rossman. I'm walking around between the 10 cameras we have running. Please.
Yes.
Can I ask just a question? I'm new to this. I need to ask a question.
Yes. Can you give me 25 more seconds?
Yeah.
10 cameras are recording me These cameras are recording me, Bar. I will perpetually call you a liar because I proved it, Nathan. I'm standing here.
Merc Looney Tunes, thanketh thee for playing.
Okay. I mean, I'm looking at it going, it does look like you've described. The shadow does look like it's changing direction as cameraman Dave McKeegan, makes minimal changes. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
On the surface, I appreciate your inquiry. And it's worthy of inquiry because it does look a bit wrong. There could be a perfectly reasonable explanation for that, though. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying just offer it. Just give me a second. You're too keen. Yeah, offer it as an inquiry as opposed to a statement of fact. And no, nobody's going to ever call you stupid at the end of the process if there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for it. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's worthy of inquiry because it looks strange. It does look like the shadow's changing.
Merc Looney Tunes, thanketh thee for playing.
It does look like it's changing direction. Show the audience once more, and then we'll round out because I've kept that guy like a lot more than 25 seconds. Sorry, friend.
There.
We'll get to you. Promise.
Thanketh thee for playing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Go ahead, my friend. Thank you, Angels. I'm sure people will be looking at this in much, much, much greater detail now that you've brought it to people's attention. So, well done in that respect, at the very least, even if it comes to nothing.
Yep. There's also just still frames of diverging shadows with the tripods.
Okay.
Yeah, I said that yesterday. There's something weird with the shadows.
Okay. Fair enough. We'll see what happens. Who knows? It's still inconsequential. If they faked the whole thing or didn't, if they do see a 24-hour sun or don't, it's inconsequential to us. That's the only reason we've remained bulletproof. The best they've had us on is no freaking guns. We've remained bulletproof for a reason, right? JLB is a testament to that yesterday. Of all the people that could have potentially found a chink in our armour, it's someone like JLB. Because JLB doesn't comport with all the beliefs of a baller. Yeah? So if there was a chink to be found, it would have been found by JLB. Nah. So feel free, if you want to come and change us in our opinion. I get the wishful thinking from the commenters. Leave the internet now. They'll be scratching their heads because, I mean, I'm running out of steam in terms of interest in replying to them. No. Why do you think my name's being screamed into the snow? It's not because of guns, you idiots. Something's not quite right now. It might not be that the whole thing's on a soundstage, as I've heard people claiming, but there's something not quite right enough for it not to satisfy the itch. Yeah, McToon feels the need to call up a load of people and tell them you were wrong. Okay, you're not basking in the glory. Something not quite right. Right? Now, it could be that he recognises, as we do, that Earth's measured flat and inconsequential to an observation of the sun in this regard. In terms of all practical measurements and usefulness of Earth, it's flat. So I can't really comment on what this anomaly offers, if you want to call it on your globe model an anomaly, if it doesn't happen. If it's suggested that this was faked or came out that it was faked and suddenly we're in ambiguity again. No, we're back to... There's a load of images already out. It doesn't matter that they faked it. There's already time lapses. And then we're back to, what's one step backwards, talking about the older time lapses. Who cares? It didn't matter when it was older time lapses. It doesn't matter now. To us. Yeah? All of our arguments it has no bearing on any of them. Anyway, let's do a quick shout out. So shout out to Jamal's24. Just to clarify, was the entire point of TFE to address a single random comment Nathan made on a video he showed 9.25 years ago? Was that all? Yeah, I've been telling people there's no guns for 10 years. Now, also, I interviewed a guy who went down there and specifically said that there wasn't a 24-hour sun as far as he was aware. Now, based on that, I've made my declarations that there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. I've got first-hand testimony from Robert Shortman. He was even mentioned by Toon. So when he said, "You lied," Robert Shortman lied. For whatever reason, Toon's conscience won't allow him to openly and overtly declare that it's my lie. No, I've based what I've stated on first-hand testimony. That was discussed, I think, he was here when I did it for my show, but by QE. Unless I've actually gone down there, witnessed a 24-hour sun and come back and gone, it doesn't happen, when I've watched it, that's a lie. Me, I'm basing what I say on first-hand testimony. They all know that, but they really want to peg me to the wall on something and they don't have anything. So what's the next best thing? Well, he definitely did write a comment about there being guns stopping you go down there. The sentiment is obvious to a few commenters at the very least, which is, if you want me to not just be sarcastic and laugh about it for Toon's benefit because it's his mental breakdown while he screams this stuff, it's me saying, well, no, you know, if you've got permission to go down there or a guided tour, of course you're not going to get stopped by the Coast Guard. Why would they stop you? But when it's somewhere that's of contention and there's an Antarctic treaty in place, you can pretty sure that if you try and just go down there of your own volition, they're going to stop you. That's the sentiment. Now, there's not a rationally minded person that would disagree with that sentiment, but Toon's decided that there are the guns here, Nathan! Yeah, that's me shouting, by the way, Neil. You know, I'm a trained actor, can use the dynamics of my voice on a whim. Apparently, I'm being called shouty in the video we're about to review. In any event, thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Who was it again? I've forgotten who gave me that super chat. JML's.
Can I make just a real quick comment about the shadows?
Yeah, but this guy's been waiting to ask a question. It was like 20 seconds, then it turned to a long time.
I said 25. I'm really sorry. You're right, Mush. It's been at least 40 seconds. I've completely forgotten about you, my friend. I'm so sorry. It's my bad.
I'm still here.
Go on. Ask your question.
Go ahead, Christian.
Go ahead.
I'm not really here to debate. I just want to know an explanation for something. So I put it in chat for Ollie to answer. But my main question is, we have a globe Earth model that can predict constellations, that can predict orbital patterns and stuff like that, and also has a scale that can get accurate distances between places. Say, like, I want to get a scale from here to Russia. I can on a globe.
No, you can't.
I can accurate.
No, you can't.
Okay. My main question is, with a flat Earth model, how can you accurately predict scale, and how can you accurately predict predictions about orbital patterns in the future?
So maps are all flat. They have to be to work with linear distances like miles. You understand that distances are flat Earth only. You appreciate that, right?
What was that?
Flat Earth only. You're talking about distances, miles, kilometers, linear.
Yes, I'm talking about
distances. I'm still talking. I listen to you. I listen to you. I listen to you. You claim that you can work out distances on a globe? No, you can't.
Yes.
No, you can't. They're linear. Distances, miles, they're flat.
What about predicting orbital patterns? I'm not here.
Did you hear what I just said? Is it just me, or have I responded and there's just like a little silence and now we're on to the next thing? You were wrong.
No, I'm saying like orbital patterns, like when the next...
Stop talking. I don't want to be shouting at you. You know, Patricia Steele will think that that's all I do, apparently. Meanwhile, no, you were wrong. Distances? What? Curved distances? No, they're linear, they're straight, they're flat. That's why all the maps are flat. That's why when you get a little scale on a flat map, it functions correctly. Because distances are linear, they won't work on your curved surface. It's the fourth time I've said it to you. You were wrong. I told you were wrong after you said it. Immediately I said, no, wrong, didn't I? You thought I was just interrupting you. Maybe just being rude. Maybe just raising my voice. No, you were wrong when you said that you'd get these curvy distances that you won't be getting. That's why all the maps are flat. Now, can you acknowledge what you got wrong before moving on? We'll rip apart the other things that you utilise fallaciously. That'd be a false dichotomy. And then we'll tell you where your globe... I'm still talking, Christian. I'm still berating you, Christian. Yo, Patricia, this asshole Christian just started talking through me as I set him straight with his fallacious logic. Now I'm having to raise my voice. It's only for dramatic effect, purely for Patricia. You understand? Yeah? Do it on a whim. Nevertheless, don't interrupt me. Pointing out how wrong you are. It is simple. You were wrong. I will get to your fallacious logic in your question, your false dichotomy. Then, once we've dealt with that, I'll deal with your belief in the reified globe model and its origin measurements on a flat Earth. Once we've dealt with all that, you'll appreciate how idiotic the questions you've put to me are, Christian. I wasn't asking you to interrupt because somehow I haven't understood the stupid questions you've put to me with your false dichotomy of globe Earth versus flat Earth models. It's not that I don't appreciate that you have not got the slightest idea how that globe you believe in came to fruition, what was measured to create it, or who created it. You don't know any of those things, I can already tell by the way you've asked me this question. So I don't need any help, I don't need any interruption. What I do need from you, not a stony silence, when I point out you were wrong. You're not using curvy distances, they're flat, like the maps that are useful. Can you acknowledge where you were wrong when you asserted your globe that's based on flat Earth measurements was functional with distances? It is not.
I'm not here to debate. I just want to know your stance on it because I'm trying to get more educated on the topic.
I told you my stance. My stance is I'm dealing with an idiot that makes declarations about distances working on globes. I've corrected you. That's my stance. Did you hear my stance? I put it to you, and now you're talking again. Your non-responsive reply did not in any way, shape or form acknowledge that which I corrected you on. Idiot, Christian, you dumbass. You said distances were curvy. What kind of moron would say that and to tell me in reply that you're not here to debate? No, you did. You made claims. Then I ripped them through your throat. Didn't I? You just haven't acknowledged that fact yet, Christian. You're a man or a mouse. You were just wrong. About distances and that. Like on the maps I've pointed out to you 5 times. So I'll do it a 6th time. No, you were wrong about the distances. That's why the maps are flat. The scales wouldn't work for the linear distances like miles and kilometres. I've put it to you multiple times. I'm not inviting you to justify your appearance. I'm telling you how wrong you were. I assume you're a globe believer. Just want to know how wrong you are? Well, I'm telling you. Do you understand how wrong you were about distance? You take your time, lad. You had some questions, and then after the fact, you've appreciated how stupid you've been made to look with those questions. But you're not here to debate. Is that like your get-out-of-jail-free card when a stupid thing you've asked gets highlighted to you? I've asked you something, Christian. I was talking to you. I've taken time out of my day to engage with you. You were wrong.
Right now, that's why. I just want to know. And you answered my question, so
acknowledge it. So do you want to acknowledge how wrong you were? Yo, Christian, I've taken time out of my day to educate a dumbass. It'd be nice if you thanked me. Oh, I didn't realise how wrong I'd be about curved distances. Linear, you say? Oh, right, I see. Thank you for explaining that. My misapprehension being corrected and all for a live audience of 128 people. That you're not acknowledging a sodding word I've said to you, Christian.
Do you have a...
Why are you asking me something? What a belligerent little prick. Don't ask me something. Acknowledge how wrong you were.
Do you have an accurate...
Don't ask me something. You were wrong. Distances are linear. Comprende? Yes or no? Do you understand? Yo, Patricia, we're going to be getting to you. I know you'll be watching this. Do you understand and appreciate that when I, who understands these arguments... We'll find out how well Patricia understands them. Apparently, my performance is diluted down to how much I shout by her. Now, I deal at the front line with people who have a zealot globe belief. And when their incorrect misapprehensions about things like distance get put to them, start asking me questions, I shout them down. I don't allow them to have the mic. That's because I'm in charge. The dominant authority in this discussion here is not Christian, is it? Christian! 8th attempt, son! You're going to grow a pair of balls and say yes when I ask you if you understand about linear distances now? Maybe I'll get a thank you. We'll see. Very irritating when you're trying to educate someone and they don't even respond and they just talk straight through you. It's not like he's sat on silence and I'm still talking or anything. You can talk when I'm done, son. I'll tell you when you're ready. Do you understand? No, belligerent's going to talk straight through me. I'll summarise the question before you open your mic and respond. Given that I've asked it 9 times. I'll summarise it for a 10th. Do you understand about linear distances, not curved? You may respond.
Yeah, but okay.
Good lad.
What I'm saying
Now
is-
sit down with
this
your
is my
dumb
whole
questions and shut the hell up, you ignorant little boy. Shut up. Why are you coming here, you stupid idiot? You've made a declaration about globes working with distances. You were wrong. You're an idiot. Why the hell are you even here? Go and brush up on your stupid nonsense that you thought was right about a globe before you come here quizzing me about how things work in false dichotomy. That'd be how your stupid model that doesn't work with distance, that's been derived from flat Earth measurements, works when stacked up in false dichotomy against my model that you're assuming I've claimed. What model?
Your model.
Excuse me, belligerent little boy that's been put in his place and told to shut up. Do I need to put you in the dunce corner? Yo, Patricia, this is how I deal with belligerence. Idiocy. That's how I deal with it. Shut them up. Raise my voice so they know he's in charge. Who'll be holding the mic with absolute authority. Sometimes that requires me to increase the volume of my tone so they know who's boss. Yeah, when you know the arguments, you can do that with authority. Just so we're clear about what's going on right now, as I tell this idiot globe believer what's what about his misapprehensions. I mean, I don't need to be talking about numpty models that use maps that are unbelievably incorrect. If we had a working map, we wouldn't have a globe deception. I don't care what map he shoves under his dome. It will be wrong because it will be a globe projection. About 400 years of them pumping them out so that we are under the misapprehension we're on a globe. Just so we're clear as we move on to our response from this numpty who had a slight misapprehension about distances and thought he could ask me how my model stacked up against his misapprehension. Yeah, he got put in his place nice and quick, didn't he? I had to raise my voice a few times as the chanting little muppet thought he could talk while I talked. No, he failed to answer a question 9 times and now I'm quite irritated with him. Oh,
Can you answer one of my questions?
Shut up, I did. I put you in your place, you stupid boy.
No, it's a yes or no question.
Yes, no, stutter
Yes or no
for me.
question.
Stutter for me, you stammering globe dick. No, you don't get to ask anything. Did you not understand the first
yes or
time?
no question.
Did you not understand me telling you no?
Okay. I thought you wanted an open discussion, but
I did have an open discussion. I opened the door, you're here having it. Do you not realise your voice is being heard by 150 people live as we speak? We're having the discussion. The discussion involved you asking me a question that involved the false dichotomy. One side of the false dichotomy was a globe that came from flat Earth measurements, angle measurements of the stars. The other side of the false dichotomy was a straw man, a model. I don't claim one. I'm not an idiot claiming to know how the world works by cartography and reification. I'm not doing that. I mean, we're going to be covering a numpty who thinks he can in a minute. That's not me. Because I'm not that numpty, you won't hold that straw man that I've somehow claimed a model, because I haven't. So your false dichotomy fails, your straw man fails, but ultimately your question was based on your misapprehension of our distance functions. Now, I have dealt with every tiny ounce of the garbage you spewed when you opened your ignorant globe-believing mouth here. Now, you feel that you've got the right to continue in your questioning of me. No, absolutely not, you stupid, ignorant, globe-believing numpty. What you can do is be told off by me. My name is Nathan Oakley. I'm the one who understood how stupid and ignorant you were and pointed out for a live audience. You are the one being told off by that flat earther. You're the one who's going to sit down and shut up from this point forth. That's what you'll do. You think you're all right to ask questions of me, do you? Yeah, you did until you made a fool of yourself. Now I'm telling you to shut up. Is that clear? You may respond.
How is there, my one question?
Why is he asking me a freaking question? Why are you asking me a freaking question, you belligerent little child? No, you're not in a position of authority. You're not the one asking questions. You had your chance, you made yourself stupid, and now you feel you've got the right to rumpus me on my own show. Yeah, fortunately, I got a nice new stream box. So when wankers chant through me, I'll just shut you up. And eventually, as you just watched, audience, when they don't get the opportunity to make me get more and more angry, raise my voice more and more and more, and that's when they blame a mute button. I didn't get to shout Nathan down when he made me look foolish. Oh no! Yeah, I did. I got a mute button. That's right. When wankers get defeated, they feel the need to shut me down by verbally muting me, by talking over me, as I humiliate them. What do you know? I run a show and can produce it effectively and not let that happen for my live audience. That's what the globe believers call my mute button. That is to say, when they've lost, they don't get the opportunity to chant indefinitely. No, they don't. I'm functionally operating on a live stream. This Christian asshole's lost his shit now and can't shut up. Doesn't respect the fact that I've got 150 people live. He wants to talk. Are you still talking there, Christian?
I don't know if you can hear me or not.
No, I can't. I'm running a live show and I've told you to shut up, but you've decided that that's not good enough. You're in charge. I've been made to look stupid, so I'm going to talk indefinitely, is what Christian's decided. Oh, right. Maybe if I leave that line open indefinitely, it'd be fair. That would be me not using my mute button, by the way. The mute button that has stopped this asshole who's had to be server muted by one of the operators of a server that I don't function operate. I've got a live show to operate. They've shut him up because he couldn't shut himself up. See, what happens from our opponents who lose badly? And they argue about things like distance after saying they're not here to debate, offering false dichotomies and straw men when they say they're not here to debate. Liars. Glurfs. When they lose, they chant indefinitely and then say, Nathan's got a mute button. What do you mean I run a live show and can shut down lines when people lose control? Yeah, I can.
Nathan, let me know if you want to talk to him. For now, he's gonna remain muted. Just
yeah, I'd close my internal line that reaches the audience. So while I was fully aware of his non-stop ramble because he'd been made to look like an idiot and wasn't going to get to make another question in non-debate, as he declared, lying. Yeah, no, I appreciate that at some point you, as the moderator in that server, has to do something about an asshole that's decided they're going to chant in defeat. No, I will get to ask a question on your live show. No, I built up an audience to the point where men are allegedly screaming my name into the snow in frustration after hanging up on me. What, because they can't get control of me and my show when I tell them how they measure Earth flat, you included, with linear distance? What, you won't get to chant through me indefinitely? Yeah, I've got control of my show. Yeah, that involves me muting you. That's correct. I mean, we did listen to your question. We did hear it. I did break it down in its entirety. But we could ignore that and focus on the fact that eventually he had to be gotten rid of. Someone had to shut him up. And that's very unfair if you're wronged because you were declaring nonsense about globes. Very unfair that you should be shut up. You should be allowed to have a little tantrum on a live show.
Nathan, just so you know, he's been making his rounds. So you put it to him. He did not respond. He did not acknowledge anything. He's been on Flatzoids and he's been dealt with.
Where did that laughter sound come from?
Probably him.
Hey, whoever did that, please don't do that. Okay, back to the job in hand, which is actually covering this video. Make it a bit bigger so I can't lose it again.
And that's what I set out to do, was to answer all the hard questions. Now I do have a viable lunar eclipse theory. I have a viable theory for...
Why isn't anybody stopping him? I'll just give it another couple of seconds and just see if Mark or Patricia stop him.
Star trail is a viable theory for the
I haven't stopped him so far. Give it a couple more seconds because he's still in the middle of talking.
Antarctic 24-hour sun, and many, many other things, redshift and blue shift.
Sorry, you just spewed out these words that get used by charlatans to hijack the empiricism of a method called the scientific method. That involves theory. I mean, we're not talking about Nostradamus or Mystic Meg theory here, like little guesses that people make. No, we're talking about people who hijack these terms to make it seem like they've got empirical answers to questions people have when they lose a paradigm. So, why isn't anybody stopping him? Theory? That comes after experimentation and validation of cause and effect reasoning based on hypothesis after observing phenomena. In this case, the sun. Redshift. These are phenomena. If you want to call them that, you need to validate the cause of them with empiricism to get to a theory. So this guy's a pretender. Sorry, mate. Maybe you didn't know this. You seem very nervous, but you're using words that we've been lied to with. The theory of what? The sky? Vacuum? Space? The theory of what? Planets? No, they're not theories. But that word does have a meaning when it comes to science and validity and claims that explain things. When it comes to natural phenomena, there's only one way of empirically validating cause and effect reasoning. That's to say, what caused the sun to do that? And it isn't going to be your model, and it certainly is not a theory. These are science words. And if you're going to use them, you better have gone through the process of acquiring validation through cause and effect reasoning, actualization of hypotheses. That's the scientific method. What he will offer is not theory. This is bullshit. Why aren't Mark or Patricia calling him out on this? Right? Do you know where bullshitters who tell us about theories of AE maps have led us to, Patricia and Mark? You were talking about highs and lows, Mark. There's a reason why we have got... I'll just strike that and rephrase it. You have got a lull, a low, a depression in your community if you want to associate with this lull. It's not a lull for me. On the contrary. No, I've driven the people who went there, causing your lull, to go nuts. To see fit to yell my name into the snow. Where are the guns, Nathan? Where are the guns? That's what I've done to them, Mark and Patricia. And the reason is simple. Because I understood where we got deceived. With words like theory. When presenting models like the AE map. Or the moon map. Or any globe projection. I mean, that's the world we live in, but we've been deceived with words of science when they haven't had it. This guy doesn't have it either. But it's not a lull for me. Nobody here has been affected by this. We are essentially bulletproof when it comes to this crap. You saw a 24-hour sun? Yes, you did, didn't you? Do you deny it? Did you not just hear me say you saw a 24-hour sun? That is to say, like when Robert Shortman told me he didn't, I'm prepared to take your first-hand testimony. I'll assume you're not just lying to my face. Yeah, it's on camera. Yeah, we've got footage of it. I'll accept it. And? Well, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. What are you going to do about it? What's it prove? Oh, it proves you're on a ball if you assume antipodal positioning, like we've been saying for a year. Yeah, this is not going to affect us. This is not a lull. On the contrary, Mark. My viewing figures have dramatically improved. What would you know? Jaren's figures and Dave's figures, I mean, they're going to be worrying about whether or not people are going to be asking for their money back. Things that they've been sold. Like the bullshit that was sold with the words like theory. It seems that I called this a week ago. I said, unless they reset everything and just start peddling the same old garbage into the public domain, like they did 10 years ago. They just reset it and start doing it again. Start gathering up a whole load of new numpties with a new flat earth paradigm based on globe projections. Joshua did what this guy did 10 years ago. He's now a glober. He modelled what the stars would do under a map, under a dome, to show what is being called caustic reflection or some shite now. It was done 10 years ago. Joshua did it. I think this is new. It's all just a little bit of history repeating. Shirley Bassey. Not to be confused with celibacy. Something totally different.
Shift and you know, the trolls are going to do their thing, but, you know, trolls are doing it from behind a keypad instead of actually doing the work themselves. So I don't even listen to that. I just do.
Listen to this. We're going to be all over you like flies on the proverbial, I'm afraid, my friends. Now, you're saying you've been here forever, so you should know better. You should know who I am and what you shouldn't be doing if you've been here for a prolonged period. 2011. I mean, Mark's going to be asking you how long you've been in Flat Earth. If you're kind of bullshitting to make it seem like you've been here longer than you have, that's what JLB was trying to get me on when I round up to 10 years. 9.35 years. Who gives a shit? I'm not leaning on my 10 years of experience when I come to an argument with a guy who's claiming distances, for example. I just know what I'm talking about. Who cares how long you've been in the arena? But if you have, you better know better when it comes to talking shite about science and theory and explanations based on someone else's map that you definitely haven't produced. Now, we've already gone through all these pitfalls, so I'm not appreciative of this. You should know better. And if you don't, you will, because you're going to be told. I want whoever is watching this to, a few of us know who you are, let you know our critiques in terms of your bullshittery, because we don't stand from it. Yeah? After 10 years of being a flat earther, yeah, I feel like I'm in the authority position to tell you what's what. Stop doing this, or you'll have me all over you. I mean, eventually, you might end up going down the realm of Ethereanism and bullshitting people to the point where you end up in Antarctica shouting into the snow with tune. Who knows? I don't care. Just don't bullshit. Learn what science is if you're going to use the words. You definitely don't have it with this.
Do my thing, put it out there. It's all about truth for me.
It's not truth. This is bullshit. You're not being truthful when you call it a theory.
And if it helps other people, or if it gains ground and actually has scientific merit, then...
Yep. I'll put it in future tense. You're going to have us all over you like flies on the proverbial if you continue down this line. No, let's just change that to present tense. You're a bullshitter, aren't you? What's this guy's name? Joseph. You're a bullshitter. You're doing the exact same thing that got us on the ball. Lying about the validity that science offers, and then showing people models. Yeah? Why do you think Dave Weiss is in a position where people are asking me if they should be asking Dave for refunds? Financially suffering potential losses as a result of this shit. This exact same shit. Now I'm going to put a stop to it immediately. What's going on?
The truth will do what it does.
No, bullshitters will lie. Bullshitters will bullshit. They'll claim science when they don't have it. They'll put people on models that'll get debunked by some non-important observation. That's what'll happen when you stick your mark in some crappy model. Is this what happens? We have a little reset and then it all starts again. The people who, oh no, it can't work, they get purged and they're not going to be watching this. But any newbies that come along, they can start gathering up the idiots.
Joseph, on your first video that you came out with that's on your channel, and I suggest people go from the beginning. I know everyone's watched the newer videos when you're coming up with this model because of the TFE thing that's happened. But go back to the beginning and you'll be able to travel in time with Joseph and see how the awakening for him began. You mentioned...
What awakening would that be? He hasn't told us why Earth's flat. I mean, we know he thinks it is, but he's not going to be proving anything. He's offering us some pseudoscience model. This is pseudoscience. Just for Patricia, type in the word pseudoscience and the word definition. I'll tell you what it'll say. A claim of science that has not been through the scientific method. This guy's doing exactly that. He's not going to explain anything. His journey is not towards truth. What he's offered you is pseudoscience and you didn't know it. You should. You've been here 10 years. That's Patricia and Mark. Why aren't you calling him on his garbage lies? I thought you were here for truth. Has 10 years of being lied to with science not taught you where to identify the lies of bullshitters? He told you about science. No, he absolutely, without question, hasn't. You need to start learning what this is. Yeah? Apparently, Jaren loses his crown as the god of flat earth, the oh-so-omnipotent ruler of this domain when it comes to bullshit and ether and nonsense and maps and models. No. That stops here. We become the authority. So we're going to have to start whipping around the old school guard. Sorry, Patricia, you need to start learning what science actually is. Because you're just going to lead people into the same lull that you were moaning about at the beginning of your show. I've fast-forwarded all that boring garbage, I've got to be honest. You watch me do it. Because I couldn't give a toss about how depressed our flat earth brethren feel. We're the ones who point out where they go wrong and wouldn't be in this mess if they actually listened. So I'm going to start asserting it with some authority to you. Maybe I'll have to raise my voice to you when you talk over me and I point out how you don't know anything about science. and couldn't identify pseudoscience if it was right in front of you on your own show. He's the reason we're in this so-called lull. By we, I mean you. We aren't in it because we weren't deceived by the models that were claimed to be science. It's happening right in front of you. You need to do better, Patricia. Yeah, I'm very disappointed.
A couple of proverbs, and one of them was Proverbs 4:7, which says, "Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding." And that seemed to be, from what you said in your video, a guide.
Oh, really? Well, you should take that to heart, Patricia. Get with them. That's us. The ones who know better, because we've been looking into it, researching it, and arguing it for 10 years. Not just interviewing people, asking them about their awakening that they haven't explained. He hasn't explained why Earth's flat. Me, I'll tell people how it's measured flat. Furthermore, when Globers come along, like that guy earlier, I mean, you could just summarise it and boil it down to me shouting at people. But what I actually do is point out how they measure Earth flat too. Isn't that interesting? That's what I do. So you'll be getting with us if you want to succeed here. Otherwise, it's just going to be this constantly, me berating you for your inferior methodology and inability to identify bullshit and lies. The guy's not got science. Now, maybe I'm being a bit harsh. Maybe he's just ignorant. Well, then again, that's your failure, isn't it, Patricia? Not capable of identifying pure ignorance in your guests. So you're just spewing misinformation at this point. We don't allow that. We will, from this point forth, Patricia, be stamping out flat Earth misinformation, and you're peddling it right here. I'm not going to tolerate it. Yeah? I don't want to have to do what I do with Dave and sit him down and try and explain what science is. Because what did I get from Dave when I attempted to do that? I was told about how he's got a nice boat. He also sent me a list, a nice little video, of all the numpties giving him money for his app. That's what he did. I tried telling him about how science works so he doesn't end up getting everybody in the sticky mess that they're currently in with the final experiment. Oh, what do you know? They're using the same bullshit terms that this guy's using. Science, experiment, theory. None of it is any of the above, though. It would help if you could identify that so you don't lead a load of people down the garden path of misinformation in Flat Earth. We're now the arbiters of that. We are in the authority when it comes to this information now. Yeah? Can't trust Jaren anymore. You can go to the old school information from Dubai, but in terms of the bang up to date, on the cutting edge, we know best information, that's us. So if you want to take your biblical scripture in this regard, Patricia, it's us that you need to align with, the ones who know. Not believe, not had a journey of discovery, not we're exposed to enlightenment, but know Earth is flat and can prove it. And can prove it with our opponent's information.
Guiding force in what you've done. And there was another one that you said pertaining to a king.
Proverbs 25
yeah,
too.
Exactly. It's the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. And really, that's what you're doing. But really, isn't that what we're all doing? Even our guys who were, and girl, Lisbeth, in Antarctica, we're doing this exact same thing. And I hope when those three get back here to the United States, they are greeted with a hero's welcome.
A couple of quick shout-outs. Shout-out to Flat Out Fudge. What a name. Flat Out Fudge. This is truly a matter of propaganda versus fundamental understanding. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Also, shout-out to Flat Out Truth, or The Flat Out Truth. Regardless of the sun in the south, Earth is measured flat. That is what needs to be addressed. Sorry, this chat's a bit longer than I expected. First, how do they explain the Earth measuring flat? Yeah, that's what gets you screaming my name into the snow. What's that? Sun goes round and round. Yeah, all right, cool, cool. Did you stay up and watch it 24 hours? You did. Who else? All right. What about you measuring Earth flat? There's no guns here, Nathan! No guns! Yeah, that's a problem for them, innit? Earth being measured flat and all.
Sounded just like him.
Thank you for the super chats.
Not with people calling them shills, not with people saying that they faked the whole thing. It was in a sound stage, or they were flown to another location, not where they said they were at that base camp.
Why not? You're not healthy to be a little bit skeptical when there's a massive deception. I would say that it is absolutely reasonable to be skeptical. There is a case where people get hyper skeptical, where it isn't necessarily needed. For us, we have something totally different. We have indifference. We can easily go with either. Which one do you want me to accept? Yeah, I'll accept that. How about that Earth being measured flat, though? No, you must. You said you accepted it this way. Okay, do you want me to accept it the other way? Okay, I'll do that then. Yeah, indifference is very powerful. Yeah, as are the power of flat Earth measurements. Very powerful indeed. Another shout out to... I forgot to bring up the chat actually on screen last time. I'm so sorry to the flat outs for not bringing your super chat up on screen, especially as I got a brand new stream deck today. Shout out to Duncan McLeod, or McLeod. Women. Yeah. Well, Mark hasn't opened his mouth yet, so I'm so sorry, Patricia. Why couldn't it have been Mark? You've got the short end of this very, very shitty stick. I'm so sorry. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. People turn to us and go, "What do we do? I should have been going back to the globe. It doesn't work." Okay, come over here. Learn about indifference. Earth's measured flat. You don't need to worry about this. It was based on a false dichotomy. Do you not understand that? No, don't explain it to me. Oh, right. Well, you have to assume that you're going to the bottom of a ball to make this observation, to then suggest that by making the observation you're on the bottom of a ball. It's called an affirming the consequent fallacy. People do it all the time. Like JLB with his stars and the exact same thing. People do that. It's fallacious. But how do we explain it? I don't have to. Why don't you have to? Well, because I'm not making outrageous claims with models like this dude on screen now. Then I don't have to be able to task with them. And the maps that this guy's using, he hasn't made, but he'll definitely be making assertions about what the world does. The majesty of the heavens won't be put to practical application, like examples we can make with things like celestial navigation. Yeah, what's the benefit of that? This crap, I'll just say it straight away in case we don't get to it, even if we don't see the model. It will be useless. It will have no practical application, and the map that it's used with will be wrong. Just in case anyone wanted a summary. No, but get to this guy, he's got something useful. No, he won't. Seen it all before. It's all just a little bit of history repeating.
That's ridiculous. And that's not because I'm dumb. I'm not. I do know liars. But generally speaking...
No, I mean, I'll agree with you. It's not stupidity, it's ignorance. And in reality, it's not lies. It's also ignorance from this guy, where I'm calling him a liar. I'm saying it's a lie, trying to carefully skirt that very fine line. Because he's not lying. He doesn't know any better, does he? He's saying he's got theory. He's calling what he wants to call science, so he can lend some validity to his models. Fine. But it's not right. Now, that's what we're here for, dramatic society. Yeah, we are actually being sincere, though. We are the arbiter of the truth in this regard. It's not science. And identifying truth starts there. Know what science is, and then, more importantly, you'll know what it's not. Yeah? Now, I'll just start here, as it seems like there's been a bit of a reset. The old guard, the scumbag scammers, the people who are being called chills that Patricia's clarifying we shouldn't. That'd be Jaren, by the way. Just so she didn't put a name to it, I will. Yeah, that won't happen to you if you don't fall into these traps. I attempted to educate Jaren on science too. The result being me getting called a scammer. Now, given that I'm here with my head held high, bulletproof and impervious to this sun garbage, I'm going to take charge, take the authority, steal the crown as Jaren's head's burning. Yeah, they're tossing Molotov cocktails at him, Patricia. And the reason is because of this. It's science that's the cause of these problems. People claiming it when they don't have it. That's the problem. Now, the problem for Jaren was that his compadres were doing that too, like Bob and Witsit, with ether. Michelson-Morley experiment. Yeah? Yeah, we told them it was pseudoscience, and they didn't want to relinquish their ether. That'll come to a head probably in 10 years from now, as they build up a load of bullshitters who believe in their garbage that they're lying about science with. Well, it all starts with this. A guy who's a bit nervous, who doesn't know any better, wanting to seem credible, and then ascribing science to his model making. Okay. No, we've got cartographers and a massive deception with everything you shove under this dome.
We in Flat Earth are often wrong about things, but there's a difference between being wrong about things as we continue trying to learn and being a liar. The liars are on the other side. And I'm not just talking about...
No, they're not. No, everybody lies.
He's being naive now.
Yeah, everybody lies. There is no exception. Everybody. However, the egregious liars you could ascribe... No, people are people. They don't change either. Doesn't matter if they find out Earth's flat. They don't stop being liars.
Hold on, Nathan. Hold on. You can't say everybody. Everybody has told a lie, but there is such a thing as practicing lying, like making it like
compulsive liars. Yeah, you could say compulsive. You can add any caveat. Anyway, moving on.
About the Adamant Globe people who are on YouTube who are fighting against the flat Earth. I'm just talking about the people that put this whole system in place. A system that is here to hide God. If you don't like the word God, then use the word the Creator or...
No, it's not here to hide God. He was created to figure out where the stars would be. You can make that inference, but you're going to need to back it. Okay, so Copernicus created this model to hide God. You're telling me a man of the church was trying to hide God? No, that's absurd.
What church was he from?
Roman Catholic Church. That's not the point.
That's a difference.
Okay, but what she said is inaccurate, isn't it, Neil?
Just say, whatever created this place. Those are the liars. They have their reasons, and our reasons are so much more beautiful. So let's welcome them back with the hero's welcome that they deserve.
Absolutely.
Right, is she suggesting that we give Jaren a hero's welcome? He was on camera telling us that we could call him a shill if we wanted to. Why would I give him a hero's welcome? This man called me a scammer after I tried to educate him in science. He's out there doing an experiment. Do you think Jaren would be able to give me the hypothesis? Will Duffy didn't when I asked him. So why would I give him a hero's welcome? The guy's a scammer, a fraudster. He's in cahoots with a fraudster who's under investigation for scamming people out of financial investment. So why would any of them get a hero's welcome? They were pseudoscience scammers, Jaren included. I know, I spoke to him about it personally. Science, that is. He's out there doing an experiment, Patricia. He's a scammer, he's not a hero. Make no mistake what Jaren is. Now, I'll identify what science is so you can understand what it isn't when it comes to fraudsters claiming experiments. That's what we did for last year. I wouldn't involve myself with these fraudsters, proven fraudsters. You know, there's helplines and hotlines and numbers for lawyers if you've been scammed by Will Duffy. Now, Jaren, he didn't want to know about science, and he's out there doing an experiment and claiming some sort of loss. And no, we just need a hypothesis. That's what we need for this experiment. When it was first explained to me, that was the first thing I did. Contact the organizer. You called it an experiment. What was his reply? You can call it an expedition, if you like. In other words, what we thwarted his entire premise, hijacking the validity of science, like you guessed. That's what we did. Did we get a hero's welcome, Patricia? Now, maybe I'll just be criticised for how high or low the tone of my voice is. Yeah? Is that what's important here? I don't think so. I think what's important is that we've been scammed with science, and that scam is perpetuated by Jaren. Yeah, he's on the ether train and Michelson-Morley experiments, isn't he? He's an Ethereum, he's a true earther. No, these people who have been told what science is, like Jaren, they're liars. Because I can identify a liar in Jaren, given that he knows what science is and is not. So he is a liar. It's not an experiment. He's not on camera pointing that out. He's capitulating. He's participating. He's conceding the flat earth you, Patricia, believe in. Now, us who know it's flat, we don't have any of these issues. What we try and do is educate people like Jaren, scammers, frauds, liars, in what science is so they don't make these mistakes. Given that Jaren knows that makes him a liar. He's absolutely not going to get a hero's welcome. I will encourage people to depart from his company. Now, there's a reason he's in Antarctica on camera saying, you can call me a scammer. You can call me a shill. There's a reason he's saying those things. Now, if in your mind that means he gets a hero's welcome, then no. You need to start sniffing those salts and come back to reality. He's not a hero. He's part of the problem.
To say that.
No, that's
yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, these guys, even not watching TV in 5 years or media in 5 years, you can't help but know who Jaren and Austin are in the truth movement. And
so what? They could be very detrimental if they were conceding flat earth. Yeah, people do. So they're going to take them all down with them. Have you not realised what's going on? I mean, it's really easy to be safe. I'm on the outside of this garbage. It's not affecting me. It's benefiting me. I've got more viewers since this happened than I've had since COVID. Unbelievable. So, oh no, it might affect... No. Cut ties with these scammers. Yeah? Now, everybody that was potentially going to have a detrimental influence that might have been subscribed to me disappeared when Jaren and Bob and everyone else called me a scammer for trying to educate them in science, just so we're clear.
the things they've done for truth.
Name 5.
It's ridiculous to treat people like that, period. I don't care if you don't agree with somebody. Treating somebody as though they're dung on the ground beneath you is just a terrible way to live life. And it's generally a sign that there's something wrong inside of the person treating other people like that. So I think, yeah, we should be glad that Jaren and Austin sacrificed. I mean, can you imagine spending a week with a couple of those guys in that?
What are you talking about? Spending a week with them? I opened my doors to these assholes. I've spent hours. I've spent years with them. You think he needs to be held up as a freaking hero for spending a couple of days with McToon? No, absolutely not. And it's what, unfair that the man who has decried me as a scammer for attempting to educate him in science should be decried when he goes and concedes your entire worldview for the biggest audience that we have. Oh, no. No, I'll condemn him. Oh, I'll condemn him. Absolutely, I'll condemn him. Wits it the same. No problem whatsoever. Hey, QE. Wonder why you joined.
What do you mean you wonder why I joined?
Because I got a message.
Listen, they just showed me this video last night. I only watched just a little bit of it, but a little bit I did watch was enough to say, okay, enough is enough.
Hey, we'll do a GoFundMe. QE needs a new monitor. He's clearly thrown a shoe at his.
Hey, yeah, I like the line before. I don't know how long ago it was. That anyone knows that Jaren and Witsit is part of the truth movement. The truth movement? Witsit's Mr. Ping Pong Golf Ball's a demonstrated liar. What the hell are you talking about?
They deserve a hero's welcome. That's what you just said.
Jesus.
You know I like Patricia and Mark. Why did I get a message that you explicitly wanted me to do this? You told Divergent Droid, ask, don't tell Nathan to cover this video, correct?
Yes.
You like me squirming, do you?
No, I'm not all that interested in Patricia and Mark. I'm more focused on Joseph Haney. That's what I was more. I didn't hear too much from Patricia or Mark. Like I said, I didn't listen to much.
I'm Christian.
I am. I'm all ears when it comes to Patricia and Mark now. No, we've got to up our game, haven't we?
Yes.
They're figureheads, aren't they?
Yes.
Right, get in line then. They need to up their game considerably, and I'm going to be the one to tell them. Now, I've done it before, slightly nervously, without the confidence that I have today. I've done it with Dave, I've done it with Jaron, I've done it with these people that are now being cut and loose and cast to the wayside, asked for refunds. Those people, I've done it with them. Now, they've failed us all miserably. But you're still here. It's good to see. Perhaps you didn't have such an invested interest in all the garbage they were peddling. Who cares? But you're still here. Good for you. Yeah, I'm still standing also, completely impervious to this crap. But if you're still here and still a big head for Flat Earth, you better up your game and know where people are lying and taking people down a garden path that will lead them to the exact same place that they described at the beginning of their show about a lull, the null. Oh, we've got to go on the ups and downs and you've got to go to the bottom of the valley to come up the hill. No, we're not on it. I'm improving things. My viewers have gone up, you know what I mean? It's not affecting us. There's a reason. So they need to know. So while you're focused on the guy and his pseudoscience, which I have also covered, me, I want the people who represent us, that's Mark and Patricia in this instance, to do better so we don't have the same problems again.
Time to clean house.
Yeah, that's the term. Go on, whoever that is. Lotrech, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm not saying your name correct. Lotrech. Are you just hot micing? Really so.
That kind of conditions, it's not.
Especially
it's not
MC Toon, who there's video of him screaming on the phone at another flat earther, who, as we all know, Nathan Oakley, does his own share of screaming, but it's on his own channel. He doesn't call people up on the phone to scream at them personally. People who get screamed at on his channel, well, they went there willingly to the channel. So anyway.
And I've sat down and had lunch and dinner with Austin at the.
That's your summary for me, is it, Patricia? Wow, thanks a million. Okie
Truth and Freedom Conference. He's a good guy. He's open to growth and learning, and I guess people see him, and because he's so polished, they think he's a know-it-all.
He's a liar. He's polished. He's the double-speaking lion Surat king. That's how polished he is.
Is he talking about Jaron or Witsit?
Witsit.
Oh, he's lied to my. I mean, we could just boil it down to me yelling, but I caught Witsit lying. He lied to my face. I pointed it out to him. He lied in response to me pointing out his lies. So while you're taking this guy's word for it, no, what we do is expose pretender clown liars like Witsit. Yeah? That's what we do. I mean, coincidence, maybe. He's currently conceding your entire worldview, by the way, Patricia. I know you want to hold him up as a hero, but he's a liar proven by me. And also conceding your entire worldview. Maybe the two things aren't connected. I don't know. Who knows? You seem to have a thing about whether or not people were liars. So Witsit is, fact, a demonstrated liar.
He was sharply dressed, though.
He was very polished as he explained his lie back and forth, contradicting himself. He also called me a grifter when I was exposing his lies about his rhetoric with ether, claimed to be science, also a lie. Witsit also knows what science is and perpetuates his lies about ether science, in spite of the fact he knows better. That's an actual lie. Not like this guy, he probably doesn't know any better, that QE wants to rip a new one. Witsit actually, without question, we know he knows what science is. So when he declares stuff is science and it isn't, that's a lie.
He's not. Like, he's just a humble guy who's willing to learn and grow.
Really? A humble guy that can concede his mistakes? No, he's a guy that when caught in a lie will call the person who's caught him in a lie a grifter. That's me. That's
and then lie again.
That's not humble. That's being
and then lie again to cover up the previous lie.
Yeah, I'll lie again to cover up the previous lie. That's right. And call me a grifter and a scammer and say I'm only here to make money. No, I've got 2 kids to feed and I do actually run a YouTube channel for the purposes of feeding them and myself. Yeah, that's right. But that doesn't alter Witsit's lies that were pointed out to him, which got me called a grifter in response. Just so we're clear what happens with these heroes that you're holding up as they concede your entire worldview.
And, Jaron, regardless of what he decides about the shape of the Earth based on.
You can call me a shill, end quote, Jaren, when conceding your entire worldview. Hooray, you're a hero!
On what he saw in the sky, he's still a good dude.
Yeah, I've got to ask myself the same question. Are you guys taking delusional mushrooms where reality hasn't actually slapped you in the face yet? What's going on? Why are you babbling about this like these guys are heroes? What is going on? Am I missing something?
Clowns.
What am I missing?
Nothing.
Shout out to V. Dali. I hope I'm saying your name right. McToon looking for guns like he's looking for curve. Thank you for the super chat.
Dude, and I mean, there's tons of things he can talk about outside of the Earth, but if those two were to walk away from flat Earth, I couldn't blame them. I mean, the way they've been treated, who could blame?
Oh my God. So unless we hear otherwise, I'll give him a couple of seconds to respond to what he's just said. I will make a conclusion. None of the people on the panel know it's flat. If you can walk away from flat Earth, I wouldn't blame them. Tells me in no uncertain terms that this man does not know it's flat. You can't walk away from how Earth is. That's not something that's... It's not a venue, right? No matter where you go, it's always going to be the Earth that you're standing on, and it's always going to be flat. That's how it's measured. Now, maybe this makes it easier, maybe it makes it harder. Who cares? There's nothing I can do about that fact. And nothing anybody ever says will change that fact. Earth is flat. There is no walking away from those facts if you know they're facts. But you don't. Because in your mind, it's all right if Jaren and Whitsitt walk away from this belief we hold. Yeah, you can walk away from beliefs. Like, you can stop being a Scientologist. But you can't walk away from demonstrable and measurable reality. That's what it is. Doesn't matter if I call myself a flat earther. It doesn't matter if there was no such thing as flat earthers. If I was the only one who recognised that the way we measure, build on, sail on, map, chart, fly over Earth was all done flat, it wouldn't matter if I was the only one. That would still be fact. Nothing anybody would do or say would change how I treated those facts. Nothing will change that. So you can't walk away when you know. When you know, there is absolutely no semblance of turning back. Because how'd you turn back? We now know that the globe came from those measurements of a flat Earth. So what are you going to go back to? A globe that's made with the measurements of Earth being flat? You can't go back to that. There's no turning back if you know. But you don't, do you? Now, based on what Patricia and Mark say next, I'm going to say the same thing. They may not like hearing it, but they might. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, that's the hard part for me, just kind of being the new kid on the block, getting into this and seeing how much division there is even within the community. But that's also just coming with the territory because everyone's skeptical. So it's on the hyper skeptical side to be questioning the shape of the Earth and just not buying into the heliocentric model. And so for the people that have spent the time and energy to really put their neck out, absolutely we need to welcome them.
Literally, Mark and Patricia haven't moved their heads. They haven't said a word and they haven't moved an inch. I'm not even joking. It's like the cameras are frozen. I'm waiting for one of them to nod. Do they agree or don't they? It's been a couple of seconds. We'll see.
And we need to give them the benefit of the doubt. We need to let them kind of share their information because maybe they found another flat Earth proof that could be a death blow to the heliocentric model because, just as this goes without saying,
we debunked that in 2020. Yeah, get up to date with the flat Earth debate, all of you, all three of you. DJ Curious, you kind of got the short end of the stick last time. This guy, Joseph, Patricia, Mark, you need to keep up to date. Maybe my demeanour leaves a salty taste in your mouth when you watch. I don't care. You need to learn these arguments. We debunked this assertion in 2020. You need a globe debunking that's categoric, then Black Swan. If the Earth was a sphere, as described in this guy, by comparison for his opponent's paradigm, then every distance to horizon could be measured no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Distance to horizon in the Black Swan is beyond the geometric limitations at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Therefore, Earth is not a sphere. The horizon is not Earth curve. That's where they claim they prove Earth is a sphere with what they claimed were measurements. Furthermore, their claim they said were measurements are in fact derivations of flat Earth measurements. So the Earth curve calculations rely on measuring Earth as a flat plane.
Just because there's a 24-hour circling sun, which obviously Mark had already talked about on the show, saying could be a possibility. He wasn't going to be surprised if we saw it. So it's not a total shock for the flat Earth community. Sorry, Globe side. We're still just trying to figure out how this beautiful place works. And it's really important everybody recognizes that we've only been able to try to put ourselves into this reality for the past 10 years of understanding how things could work. And that's why, Joe, your story is so cool and so fast.
So why is it flat? Well, because of his story that he's about to tell us. I already know he doesn't know it's flat. He just thinks it is. He thinks it's okay to walk away from. It's a religion. It's a belief to this guy. A belief that he thinks he can model with other people's maps.
Fascinating, because you did say that you shut off outside sources, you stopped watching TV, and you were just allowing the creator. This is probably the most beautiful thing I've heard you say so far, is that you just wanted to have that connection to the creator, not learn from outside sources, not just take what man says, and really
completely non sequitur to Earth being flat.
Try to figure it out for yourself, and that's
figure it out, like with numbers and stuff. That would be measurements. That's what we do, DJ Curious. You don't do that. He doesn't do that either. He wouldn't be using any of the existing maps or models, as they're incorrectly so called, underneath his dome that he's about to show you. None of them are correct. They're all distorted.
That's why we get to enjoy what you've accomplished so far. And
what's he accomplished? It had already been done. Josh Ward did it 10 years ago.
Please note, everyone, it's a work in progress. It's okay that we don't know how this place works.
We do. We know it works with a flat plane of reference that we measure. We know, DJ Curious. DJ Curious, you need to disappear. Go away from flat Earth. Get lost. Why are you even here? Just empty sentiment is what you're offering into this camera right now. What you offered was worthless. Okay? I don't want to hear this guy talking anymore. This guy irritates me greatly. You don't know anything. You've got nothing to offer, DJ Curious. You're not a flat earther. Stop talking.
They'll come in with these just barrage of disingenuous questions where they're just operating in cognitive dissonance and trying to get a gotcha question. And most of the time, if they would just go watch my other videos, those questions have already been answered. But yeah, it's very sad to see that kind of attitude. You know, if somebody's asking genuine questions and they're just really looking for why flat Earth is even a possibility, and then, you know, I've done my part.
No, sorry. Why flat Earth is even a possibility? So you don't know then? In your mind, people would be asking why this could be potentially flat. No, we know it's flat. Yeah? Yeah, you DJ Curious guy, you don't know either, clearly. Hasn't got a clue. Empty nonsense that means nothing. Doesn't help any flat earther. None of this does. Right? The people tuning into this just want to know it's flat and why. And you're suggesting that you can help them with their belief. That's the best you can offer.
Having a discussion with people. But the disingenuous troll comments, I'm not even going to engage with that anymore. I'm just going to keep doing this. And, you know,
that's going to be me. Yeah. Maybe you could view me that way when we point out your belief and point you in the direction of what we do, which is allude to the measurements of Earth and how they are flat, because then you know it's flat.
Whoever wants to take something from it, they can. If they don't, then that's fine too, because at the end of the day,
what's it? Take something from it. What's it?
Like, I've done my part. I've done my best to figure out how it's working, and I
figure out what, use the numbers and stuff. Yeah, use the measurements and stuff. Yeah, we figured it out. It was already being utilized flat. In fact, it has to be. Every practical use of Earth is flat. So all of the measurements are flat. That's what we did. We figured, that's using the numbers, it out. Like the measurements and stuff. That's what we did. Yeah, found out how Earth was actually practically being used. It is flat by practical purposes and use. The measurements are all flat. That's what we did. That's figuring it out.
I feel like now we, as a community, can really delve into it and make it better.
Nah, we've got wankers in this community, complete wankers that go around calling the people who understand this stuff charlatans and scammers. That's us being called charlatans and scammers by the people who've just relinquished your worldview down in Antarctica. Down? No, we'd point out that they don't have a down on a globe. But obviously, you could just beg the question. Go ahead.
Are you saying we're going to delve into it now? Son, delved into it May 15th, 2016, and haven't come up. I've been delving the whole time. And so is the rest on this panel and a lot of people out there. Delve into it now. What are you, smoking shrooms?
No, he will have been amongst the people that were told by Jaron not to look at us because we're scammers. So he's gone off in his la land Scientism, looking at science and claiming this as proof of something. Well, he declares his belief and how easy it'd be to walk away from said belief, as Jaron and Whitsitt are perfectly reasonable in doing. Now, you can't walk away from flat Earth. No matter what Jaron or Whitsitt do, they'll always be flat Earthers, as much as it grieves me to say so, because Earth's flat. It's measured that way. They'll be walking and strolling and navigating and sailing and flying over a flat Earth, regardless of what I do or they do. That will never change. Me knowing it can't be altered, they're facts. And when someone comes and tells me I'm on a ball, I have to lead them to the point where their ball came from the measurements of Earth being flat. It's quite embarrassing. But that's what I'll be doing.
Better and better.
Definitely. Now, building models is nothing that I could do. I mean, I don't have the talent. You have to actually fabricate things, and maybe you use a few things that you have around the house, and it looks like you've got a lot of cameras behind you and mounts, so you really know a lot about doing this. What is it about your background that lent you to have the ability to make models like you do?
So I was talking to my wife.
Oh boy,
sorry.
the models are coming back, huh?
I didn't listen to that last
my.
bit. I just explained what was going on. I was talking to my wife about going to the post office. Sorry. What was that last bit?
Talking about his proclivity for model making. So the models are coming back to haunt pretender clown flat earthers. What a shocking surprise.
Yeah, models are pseudoscience. This isn't going to be explaining anything. You want the cause of the sun or moon movement or star movement? You're not going to get it from these models. Yeah, you might get close to a correlation. That leads you to the same deceit that we have with heliocentrism. Go ahead.
Is this a scientific model that he's got? Is that what they're talking about?
He claimed it was science.
Joseph, is this a scientific model? Can you define a scientific model, Joseph? And then put your example up and let's see if those two mesh. Clown.
I don't really know. I guess it's just, I've always been a very curious-minded person. I mean, second grade, every month, instead of, you know, going out and playing on the playground and stuff, I'd go to the library and do horticulture as far as the scientific practice. I love trying to figure things out. And I've never been one to like watching TV or anything like that. So, and once I really became what I would consider a true believer, somebody where the knowledge went from my head to my heart, and I realized that just the realness of the relationship with the Creator, I was just fascinated by his creation on a level that it was kind of like being a little kid again, where you just, everything is amazing and you're just kind of in awe of everything. And your mind is free to grow. You're kind of outside of that in the box thinking. You just kind of break free from that and you're able to see things on a broader scale. And
brother, shout out to TVH, who says, "Hello Nathan, once you go flat, you don't go back. Thank you for the super chat." And also Duncan McLeod says, "She's thirsty AF." I don't really know what he means, but thank you very much indeed for the super chats.
At the same time, I have to give him credit. There's a lot of it's just, I can only describe it kind of like Nikola Tesla talked about how he got downloads. And there's been many times I've just got like an instant download and I had to write everything down and then go kind of fabricate the stuff. And
what?
What?
What the hell is he talking about?
I know what he's talking about. He's talking about like you get inspired, like you wake up and suddenly you've got this information in your head rattling around that you need to deal with and process, and then he's saying that gives him the inspiration, and then he's got to fabricate stuff. Yeah. I once heard, the only reason I can fathom that is because there's a guy called Pirate Gaming who's, I'm sure I've mentioned him in the past, he's in a South Park, his dad is in a South Park episode as the slob that fights all of the South Park characters in World of Warcraft. Well, that guy's son has got a YouTube channel called Pirate Gaming, and he explained once that in terms of, you put yourself in the frame of mind of a programmer when he's making his examples. That's why I've contextualized who he is. And he said every 5 years or so, and the period gets shorter and shorter, after maybe 20, 25, there or thereabouts, he said you get DLC or downloadable content. And he says, and it's never good. He says you wake up one day and you've got an ache. Now that ache will never go away. And then 5 years later, you're 30, and suddenly you get another download. And suddenly you've got a whistling in your ear, and it'll never go away. It's never a good download. And as time progresses, you get more and more of these downloads. Suddenly your leg aches. No, it didn't ache before. Yesterday it didn't ache. Today you woke up with a new download, didn't you? And he's describing this process of basically entropic aging for humans, but just in a very amusing way. So because of his contextualization for it, not that this elaborate comparison was needed, but it filled a bit of time. That's what he's talking about. Being inspired.
Sure
Could be
enough,
the
it
mushrooms.
worked. Like for
Or they're all on shrooms and they haven't faced the reality that, yeah, their gurus of flat Earth have done them really badly. They want to believe they can hold them up as heroes. So it's got to be mushrooms. Well, what other explanation have I got at this point? It makes no sense.
moon phases or lunar eclipses, and it just started clicking and making sense. So.
I think that downloads are coming to you directly from God. And I actually think that all of us who got involved in flat Earth at one time or another weren't flat earthers, and we were just living our life in the quote unquote matrix. And then one day we got a download too. And that's why we're here today. Some of us, like me, can't make models. So that's not the kind of download I got. I got a download to do something that I was naturally comfortable with. And Joseph, well, you got the download that is something that you naturally are comfortable with. DJ, you as well. And Mark, definitely you as well, with your ability as a speaker and your ability to do presentations and to write books. All of us got downloads to use the abilities that we personally have been given by God to use.
Okay.
Use them for good. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. We all operate in our individual gifts, that's for sure. And if we can learn how to do that better.
It is. What a waste of time.
And just bad.
I had some weird hope that maybe they might, now they would never agree on the same stuff, but maybe they might, shake hands in some sort of like, hey, I don't agree, you don't agree, but
this isn't a agree-disagree subject if she's talking about the guys in Antarctica. I mean, when it came to me summarising it as it was happening, I said if I was there, I'd be running around naked laughing at them. Yeah, that's measured flat. It only took, 30 seconds of two not rumpusing me. and hearing me asking him about his measurements for him to start screaming my name into the snow. Not agree, disagree subject.
But it turned out not to really work out that way. Even there, in those conditions that were so deadly or could be deadly if you went in the wrong area, those life-threatening conditions, that visual beauty, the stunning handiwork of God, that something might change. But then I thought, wait a minute, all those Globers are atheists. They're not afraid of death. They don't fear the creator. So they're fine with being at the edge of death, freezing to death, and they'll just continue fighting till their last
What the
breath.
hell is she talking
Because
about? What the hell is she talking about?
they're angry people, I think. Angry
Well,
people.
and you know, it's important to just, we're learning and practicing patience, obviously being on the side of things that.
It's the first good thing DJ Curious has done. +1 for interrupting her. Yeah, what was she going on about? Okay, shout out to Applied.
Go
ahead.
Sorry, she said that all Globers are atheists. Well, what about Danny Faulkner?
Just not very well informed. Oh well. She'll take her time to get back into her stride. Go ahead.
Yeah, but she surely knows who Danny Faulkner is.
Probably not.
No, she said the people down there, I don't know how they get down there, were not Christians. McBugger Eater is a professed Christian. Didn't she know that?
Right, as is the pastor, Will Duffy.
Yes. But she said they're all atheists. Really? What the hell is this?
Applied Word with Dan Weston says via the super chat. Too many flat earthers are interested in consensus rather than science. They just want to be confronted. Is that right? Comforted? If I can actually read. Comforted by a number of people in the movement. Yeah, you're saying basically flat earthers also appeal to consensus, right? Yes, indeed. Thank you for the super chat. If I could read.
Yeah, listen to this. This reminds me of being in the Truman Show, where people you're supposed to trust start twitching and saying things that don't make sense.
That look just so down upon. It's a humbling experience getting to this point and going, look, I don't have all the answers. We are still learning. We're curious. We're putting ourselves out there.
Come to Flat Earth Debate. Subscribe to Flat Earth Debate. That's what you need to do. That's it. Maybe you've been poisoned by Jaren. I'm making that assumption. If you say you've been here as long as you are and you want to worship at the altar of Jaren and bring it back as a hero, I can only make that assumption. Therefore, you will have been poisoned. Oh, don't go and watch those guys. They're scammers. Yeah, we're not. We're the ones with the answers. We're the ones that are bulletproof. We're the ones still winning and getting our opponents to scream our names into the snow. That's what we do. So if you don't, just come here. Then you'll know. You don't have the answers. We do. Yeah?
All of us kind of have a part in it. It also resonates with me that I was in my own living room seeking truth and trying to understand what was going on. I just knew that they were hiding God. I didn't really understand how, but I just felt
those things aren't congruent with one another. If you don't know, how can you speak truth? How can you do that?
You can't.
Accidentally?
Accidentally by what? Just by having a little look, trying to have a guess? No, that leads you to tell people there's guns down there in Antarctica. The penguins are armed if you do that sort of thing.
Felt it, and that has led me here, and I've shared that on the show. But Mark, I haven't heard you talk about downloads really quick. When you made the clues, I'm just curious. And also, Joe, did you ever see the Flat Earth clues?
And Mark by paragraph, even when I do those 60-second shorts and crap that I do every week, now I have to go back.
Good point. I'm glad I got to that point. Right. So obviously, toddle along to Mark, who has dodged a bullet today. Haven't you, Mark? Mark definitely dodged a bullet. Yet. You can't lie.
We haven't finished yet.
Have we not?
No, we haven't
That's not
finished
what I'm
yet,
doing. That's
so
not,
no
I'm not
one's
rounding out.
dodged anything.
I'm not rounding out. I'm just doing a call to action. I'm just asking people to go and subscribe and let Mark know that at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a nice polite comment based on the clickable link that's going by in the live stream now. So for the first time ever, even though Mark's bigger than me, I might actually be in a position to send people that he hasn't got as subscribers to him, as I've got a decent audience for a change. Unbelievable. So
you might be recanting, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't say you were closing out. You said he dodged a bullet thus far.
Oh, have you watched this already?
I did not. I told you I only watched a little piece of it, but that little piece was enough.
So, 176 people currently watching this stream. Please share the show if you've not done so already. It's just 2 clicks to put the show onto your favourite social media platform, be that Bebo or MySpace or Facebook or whatever it is you're currently using. If you click that little share button, they'll all pop up in a nice little row if you use multiples of them. But yeah, please share the show. Smash it if you've not done so already. Massive shout out to all of you who have shared the show up till now. It's nice to have well over 100 people watching and almost 200 people watching. Yesterday, QE topped out 167 people watching his stream, which is an all-time high for Quantum Eraser's YouTube channel. So mad respect to Quantum Eraser, who's been obviously doing this for a long time, but just not YouTubing for a very long time. So mad props to you for yesterday's stream yesterday. I was really proud. I took some screenshots when you hit those numbers. Did you see?
I noticed them in passing.
Oh, Mr. Modest. Mr.
I'm not here for the numbers.
I
The
thought there was
numbers
more than
never-
167.
Those numbers were never my game. Zero part of it. It was, shockingly, to expose pretender clown frauds, no matter their rank, no matter their station in life. The numbers, okay, that's fine. I don't care.
Well, I care.
Never
I'm a
did.
YouTuber, so I'm delighted for both of us. I'll be delighted for
You're
you.
fine.
It reflects well on me. So great.
Yep.
Excellent. Yeah, anyway, thank you very much for joining us if you're amongst the few that have joined since we've started. And obviously, we're covering Mark Sargent. The whole point of me doing this little interlude, if you want to call it that, is to get you to toddle along to Mark Sargent's channel. And as I say, it's probably the first time I could say, oh, there's a decent enough audience that some of you are not familiar with this process. Therefore, I'm not saying it for my health, actually do click the link. And I'm appealing to anybody. I'm not just saying this to flat earthers. As you can see, we're more than willing to rip flatties a new one when they're not in line with actual reality and measurements of Earth. In this case, Patricia's got the short end of the stick thus far. And yeah, please let Mark know, that's Mark Sargent, if you're unfamiliar, on his video, Strange World 490, special guest Joseph Hanvey, Patricia Steer, DJ Curious, and Mark Sargent tick sign. So that's the name of the video. Go and check it out and let Mark know with a polite comment. Don't swear if you are on the opposing side of this discussion. It's not a debate. Measured flat. You don't like these long calls to action, do you? I've got to drag
Get on with it.
I've got to drag it out a little bit because the people who click on that link, I want them to come back. And if I'm already halfway through the response and they've toddled to Mark's video, said, "Hi, Mark Sargent, at Nathan Oakley sent me. He did a critique. I was very critical of your co-host." Because they're an evil glober. They want to come back and still see us, you know, being critical of a flatty. People love that. So I want to encourage them and carry on the call to action while they do that so that when they come back, we're actually doing the video. Sorry about the banging. My wife's just got back from the post office. I think I've left enough of a gap now, QE. Much to your frustration. We will continue, as I'm sure people have actually done that now. But let Mark know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment.
Go back and change things, and I changed almost nothing in the clues when I wrote it, and then when I narrated it, it just seemed, even though I knew nothing about video and audio work at all, it's like, all right, how can I do this? And then I just did it. So if you want to call it a download, yes. Although back then I didn't know what to call it.
Well, it's interesting because it did help a lot of people. And now that it's been 10 years, obviously we can get into Flat Earth through other means. In fact, I would love to hear, Joe, how you got into Flat Earth originally. I don't know if you can expand upon that, but you're in for a treat when you see the clues because they really do resonate with so many people and they went completely viral. And it set Mark up for this journey to help wake up a
I'll probably spin through most of this.
Thanks.
a lot of people.
You know, when strangers
and
come up
myself
to you and
included.
start
Plus,
telling you their life story.
Yeah.
just the journey that Mark and Patricia have been on, it kind of ties into what Jaron and Austin and Elizabeth are going.
Don't just 15 is into this, and I just started looking into stalk me in.
I don't know how they.
I had some shown easy thing, even my iPhone or my Samsung, and run star trails, and I can see northern star trails, equatorial star trails, and southern star trails from my driveway, and then I can come in here and do a long exposure in this with my stars and get the exact same thing.
Really? Are they going in different directions?
No. Okay, yes. He's not making that claim. He's not a baller. Fine, but all the concepts that he's just detailed are all flat Earth only, aren't they? Let's see if he highlights any of what he's just said as a flat Earth proof.
So, you know, for years and years, we've always heard, well, explain how star trails work on a flat Earth. Well, we can.
No, he's not.
Now, and just saying we can't because you can't wrap your mind around it. Not y'all, I'm just saying in general.
No, we spent the last 3 years, 2.5 years, explaining how celestial navigation works, how the stars are fundamental to the mapping and charting of the world, the expansion of the territories, and not dying when you're at sea. So we have the stars, we know what they're doing. Now, you can infer that after you've taken those measurements, you can invent novel ways of predicting where the unpredictable patterns of seemingly detached lights do what they do in a unified model and call it a ball Earth that we're standing on. We can explain those processes and the origin measurements of a flat Earth, of the stars that gave us those reifiable paradigms. I have to pause because I want to say models and QEs here and there talking about them. So I've got to watch my tongue.
It's pissing me off every second. We have somebody in our midst that still has a problem with it. I can't believe it after all these years, but okay.
I've got a linguistic problem with it. You know I've still got a problem. It's like crack. Summarising what they call globe, Earth, as a model. There isn't one. Let's linger on that for a second. Why would I seem so hesitant in my delivery of that sentence? Well, because I wanted to say model. I just had to squeeze it out. Neil's in the chat going lol. Because I'm slow my timbre because I'm having to think, what word was it I had to replace here? Oh yeah, paradigm. We're all model afflicted, aren't we? I am in linguistic terms.
It's the same thing with, atmosphere. It's hard to stop saying those things, so I understand. It's sort of, it's a tongue-in-cheek thing, but stop doing it.
He's talking to me and everybody by extension, but it is good in a way because number one, we're all human. So as much as I can, I've hammed up my shoutiness today because I knew in advance someone told me that Patricia was going to have that critique. So in a way, I'm sure she knows me just about well enough to know when I'm hamming it up for the intentions of dramatic delivery, which is the case here. But yeah, when it comes to our own critiques of ourselves, man, we are hyper vigilant with our own. In fact, when I say our own, what is that? Well, it's just everybody. It doesn't matter who is doing it or who's responding to it. We're going to be hyper vigilant, all of us, internally, externally, opponent or friend. It doesn't matter, does it? Right? We all have the same standards here on Flat Earth Debate. They're very high. We're very fussy, and even me as the show host occasionally come under that high degree of scrutiny. I'll get shouted at, metaphorically speaking.
For the globe side, just because the globe side can't wrap their mind around it because they've not put any effort or any time into trying to actually break down the model. Right. They've always just looked for.
They haven't got one. They haven't got a model. I mean, turn this into a learning process. Ask them next time your opponent says they've got a model that explains this stuff. Ask them to show it you. All right, you got a model. Wow, cool. Show it me.
Yeah, and stay there. And don't let their incoherent chaff away from it move you away. You stay right there and say, can I see your model? And no matter what they say, the next thing out of your mouth, when they don't show it because they can't, because it doesn't exist, you say, can you show me that model again? And then can you show me that model again? And then you stay there until they show it.
I'm sorry, I did that with Matthew Learns, and I was treated very harshly, Keely.
Cares.
I watched Flatsword do it. I couldn't stay and watch your entire show yesterday. I had other things on, unfortunately. So you probably saw me. I dropped in for a few minutes, and I'm like, to make it seem like I've been here forever, I'll drop a super chat in. Because then, oh, Nathan was in chat. Yeah, he super chat. No, I wasn't there at all. But anyway, at one point I did drop in for a couple of minutes, and Flatsword, again, props to him. I only tuned in for a couple of minutes, so to see him doing well when I tune in sporadically is excellent, because you're like, he must have been doing well the whole time. But I tuned in, and he had Will Duffy over a barrel with this subject. So he's going, is that a model? And he's talking about the globe, and Will's like, yeah, it's a model. He's like, well, go and get it then. He's like, oh, well, that plastic thing's not a model. And then he's like, so it's not a model. Yeah, it's a model. And it's like, Flatsword had him absolutely banged to rights with that. I mean, like I say, I didn't tune in for the rest of it. I was only there for literally a minute or two. But...
but he got Jedi mind tricked by the incoherent chaff in the end.
Oh, really? Oh, well, that seemed really good when I tuned in.
The guy in chat saying that he's going to join, and he's got a model. Go ahead, Shine. RJ Shine.
Not a model. Supermodel?
He said he's got a model, and he wants to join. So the link is there. Join. But then he said, why is he yelling? Listen, do not be frightened. Focus on. If you got a model, we will freely give you the floor.
I don't know about
that. Problem, so they can say it doesn't work. Well, if you were truly being intellectually honest as a glober, you would have all this stuff, and you would be trying to falsify it this way. I have several little solar systems in the other room that I use.
Oh my God, wow, really? That is amazing. Several solar systems, eh? Cool.
To try to actually, and there are plenty of things that work as far as the heavenly bodies on the globe model, but the things that don't work.
Globe model.
Those are big ones. Like we have.
Is he going to show the globe model and how things work on it? You want to support your claims, village idiot? Let's see this globe model.
Yeah, they'll need a flat Earth for that globe model. As soon as you start reifying, what was it he just called? Oh, solar system. As soon as you start describing things like the solar system, you're describing that with a flat plane also. So the motion of the sphere around the sun is described from the center thereof when it comes to the ground that we're supposed to be standing on. You're inside the globe, having it move around the sun. Now, there was a more grandiose term that refracted curvature gave me a couple of years ago. I think it's, I'll say the term, I'm not sure if this is correctly pronounced, but an asymptotically flat plane. Now, within that plane for the solar system, Earth must function along an orbital path that has it described from the center of said globe. So all of the back engineerable movement of the lights comes from the center of a globe Earth, if you're going to describe it in that way, heliocentric, sun at center, Earth as a sphere. But for it to function, yeah, this is figuring it out, it must function from within the sphere, on the equatorial plane. The plane they line their telescopes up with. Yeah, flat Earth, that is. Yeah, you'll need a flat Earth to describe this heliocentric motion that you've modelled. It requires a flat plane of reference inside the globe. That's where all the base measurements back engineer into and onto for the angles.
Water that needs a container that seeks rest at a relatively level surface. It doesn't bend convexly to a sphere that's spinning 1,000 miles an hour, 1,000.
Yep. Point, extra point. All agree? Yeah, that's correct.
38, whatever they say it is.
There you go. That's something you could have offered to an audience member for off the book. That's the best thing he's had so far. Anybody disagree? Yep.
Yeah, from 2015, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we're at, but I'm still going to give him credit. It doesn't matter that it's 2015 credit.
While corkscrewing, tilted, wobbling at numerous different speeds.
No. Speeds, you'll need a flat plane for. The wobbling, you'll need a flat plane for. And the orbital motion, you will need a flat plane for. I just explained the orbital motion that you'll need a flat plane for. Describing the tilt to be wobbling is an axis with respect to a plane. You need a flat Earth to mathematically describe that in this paradigm. You're calling it a model. No. All of it requires flat Earth to be measured or described within the assertions. That's an axial tilt. For your wibbly-wobbly motion through orbits that also require an asymptotically flat plane to describe them mathematically. We're not in hell, right? All of this is thwarted the moment you show how this functions. We're not in hell.
Through the vastness of a near-perfect vacuum while having a pressurized atmosphere, it's just nonsense. Like, and we...
Hey, QE. Something's made its way down the line.
Yep, he's still on the atmosphere, though. But he's a work in progress. We'll get him out of 2015 at some point.
Yeah, we want to help.
With ours, we start off way better than that. 1, we have a container for gas. 2, we have a container for the water. 3, we're stationary, which we treat everything as though we're stationary.
No, 2015 rhetoric. Coincidentally, still Witzit's rhetoric. All right, it all seems kind of flat. They all babbled about it after they relinquished their paradigm after being on Antarctica for only 3 hours. Nevertheless, look how flat it looks, right, Neil? I didn't actually see them say this.
Yes, both Witzit and Jaron were saying how flat it looks from the plane, and then when they were standing outside.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Ping Pong Golf Ball.
I always get his name wrong.
So, like, right off the bat, our model is leaps and bounds better than the so-called heliocentric model, which
it's doing the globe trick. So no, it's good. It's good. We can use it as a teaching tool. So where QE was like, when they, the globers QE is referring to, say their model, it's in the same context that this guy here has said his model. It's not substantive, is it? If I now turn to this guy, go show it us. Oh yeah, he's going to show it. It's right behind us, isn't it? He does actually have one in this instance, QE.
Oh, really? He has a scientific model behind him, really?
No, he doesn't have a scientific model.
Exactly. Wow.
They don't have a model. They have they have animations and cartoons.
Right.
If you go set up a heliocentric model, I've set up, like, I took my nephew's glow-in-the-dark basketball as the...
No, you can't. It's impossible to reify. The back engineering I've just described, you can't be inside hell to have it functionally operate as the back engineered angle measurements of the stars would function on the asymptotically flat plane with orbital motion of the Earth. It also bends the measurements you took. So it's not reifiable. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure you've had a bash at showing stuff moving around the sun. But that isn't reifiable. The actual concept of being able to be in hell, projecting angles through a sphere to the celestial sphere as modelled, no, it's not possible. You can't reify this stuff once you understand what it actually is.
Sun, and then I took, like, a softball and a baseball and a golf ball and a little bouncy ball and just set them up as, like, the different planets and Earth.
Ping pong golf ball. Shout out to you, Intox Femu. Maybe because cycle of old arguments is repeating.
That's true.
Earth and Mercury and Venus. I mean, we should never see Mercury or Venus, ever. It's just...
God damn.
That's not true.
Why? Why should we never see something we see? Ugh.
Just ridiculous to think that I've captured Venus at 11 o'clock at night, looking up into the night sky when it's inside of our orbit, and that's the day side of Earth. That's just, it's nonsense. And like Mark was talking about earlier, the outer space lies so deeply ingrained into the indoctrination that people can't.
Shout out to Rob. How'd you say his name's Keane, isn't it? Keane. Shout out to Rob Keane. Glad the final experiment has seemed to boost views. It hasn't seemed to boost views. It's practically doubled them. The live viewing audience is almost double what it was prior to my name being screamed by McToon. There are no
I've never even seen before.
Again?
And names that I've never even seen before in the chat.
Yeah, massive warm welcome to all of you. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. The button's right there. Smash that subscribe button. Please share the show. Hit me up on PayPal if you'd like to support the show.
Can't break free, and they're conflating two models. So they get this disk floating in outer space idea, and that's not what flat earthers believe. So we believe we're on foundations, we're not moving, that we're enclosed, and that's why we have gas pressure, that's why the water is contained, and then beyond all that we can get into more detail.
Correction, we know we're on a flat earth. We don't believe it.
But that conflation is the biggest problem, and that is born of the brainwashing and programming. Am I calling everybody stupid? No. We were all brainwashed. We were all programmed. We all believed it. It doesn't mean we're stupid. It just means we fell for it.
Yeah, space is a wonderfully romantic notion that when I put it in my clues, I said, look, from a creative standpoint, it's brilliant. It's an open canvas that has no limits, which is where we came up with Star Wars and Star Trek and Stargate and Battlestar Galactica and so on and so on. You know, you can just keep going with the stories as far as your imagination will take you. But that also traps you, where what you said, where the space disc, the space disc, right? And our big, the big flat Earth asteroid thing. They can't use anything else because they can't conceive of anything else, even though what you have behind you is a perfect example of something else, but they're not willing to make that leap. You know, I've said many times, like, why does there have to be space? It could just be a domed structure sitting anywhere. Sitting on God's...
It reminds me of a convid.
Anybody got any critique of Mark?
Not really.
No, I was going to say, what's to say? Right, what I'm going to do, we will continue with this, right? We've got a fair old chunk done. We've got 43 minutes into it, and it's like 2 and a bit hours. So obviously we're not going to cover it all today. But what I would like to do is maybe not have the video up on screen, just chit chat about what's going on generally after watching that. Maybe 10 minutes, and then I'll ask everyone to stay tuned for the after show. But while we're live, maybe 10 minutes of discussion about
why. No, just do it. Needs to be done.
Just carry on critiquing it for 10 more minutes, is what you're saying, isn't it?
No, carry on critiquing it till you'll know when.
People will say, okay, this is just my opinion, but everyone knows what I mean when I say convid. Why does there have to be a virus?
Right.
Why can't it just be completely made up by, quote, them, which is what I believe. But they had to have it be lab-leaked.
No, that's going to be my cue to round out, or either round out or have a little chit chat about it for 10 minutes. Which do you want to do? We'll see if Bar Humbug ruins this. I'll got my lights on.
I don't know what you're doing. Just skip through this nonsensical part. The meat's coming.
I'm sure it is. We'll have to cover it tomorrow, though, or in the after show.
I won't be here.
Or we could discuss it for 10 minutes, like just chit chat. It's up to you.
Discuss what?
What's going on generally? There's people here that are in turmoil, that are traumatized by seeing the sun for 24 hours.
Exactly. So why are you ending the show? The iron is strike. Time to strike now.
I'm not inviting a bit of discussion for 10 minutes as we wind down.
Discussing anything. They really haven't said anything yet.
I haven't had a timestamp. Have you got a timestamp?
Yeah, I wish I did. Like I said, aim in the Master B. They posted it. It was late last night. I just popped it on for a few minutes, and I said, that'll be about enough of that. No, I don't have a timestamp.
Oh, it's such a shame. we'll have to deal with it at a later date. I can't go on forever. All good things have to come to an end eventually. And as much as I appreciate that there's 183 people watching, that's a lot of people. I mean, we've had more pre-kibosh of Flat Earth generally on YouTube, right? We were pushing 300 viewers. So it's nice to see the numbers edging their way back up. I've still got to get on. I've got to get another drink. I've got to round out at some point. But I don't mind having another 5 or so minutes of chit-chat. Or not. We'll see how it goes.
Thank you.
Chit-chat. What do you mean?
He's going to play a video.
Play the video.
No, we've got to round out at some point. Can't keep going forever. Been live for 2.25 hours.
Boo.
I mean, boo. Look, right, this isn't exactly a cliffhanger. People will come back tomorrow. It's only Wednesday.
I won't be here.
Oh, have you got...
The general will not be here.
Okay.
That's fine.
The show will go on. I assure you, it will definitely be a show tomorrow.
Outstanding.
192 people watching. Anyway, I've got to round out regardless of the numbers going up or down or staying the same, because unfortunately, if you're watching this live, this is where I bid you farewell. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Programming Stream, stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. But a massive thank you to all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, hit me up on PayPal and Ko-Fi and all that good stuff. Obviously, another massive thank you to all of you who went to Mark Sargent's channel and let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment. Hopefully someone will put Mark Sargent's link in the live stream chat, so you can go and do that as we round out this live stream. Another massive thank you to today's Discord and G Plus panel for making today's live show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.